All right, so this is the seventh of the eight modules on it. Also, second to the last module for the research seminar that we have. So, collection of data. This is the phase wherein we are collecting the data, so to speak, or gathering the responses. If it's qualitative research, ito na yung mga gathering of all the maaaring kung interviews ka, gathering of all the interviews. If it's a survey, ito yung paano mo kunin yung mga responses from your respondents, right? Okay, so we proceed with the next slide. So your start dyan is the data. No? What is the meaning of data? So data are the things we think with. Kumbaga parang in the case of the research, these are the raw materials of reflection. Nasasabi natin dito. Kumbaga before we analyze it, before we make the necessary reflection of their correlation and all the stuff that we will be doing with statistics, whether it's qualitative of course or qualitative, bago siya mag-compare, bago mag-combine, mag-evaluate to the higher level of generalization, this is the raw materials. Ito yung pinaka-starting point. Kumbaga, of course, how can you generalize without the data? No? You have to measure first. Sabi nga ni Joseph Juran, measure, di ba? Before you analyze, natural, no? So, ito yung part na yun, no? Wherein we gather all the raw materials of data, or in the case of business na tawag din, mga KPIs or metrics, para i-analyze later on, combine o compare and all that. Okay? So, meron tayong tinatawag din na instrument, no? In the case of our sa methods natin, dinidiscuss natin yun, no? What will be your instrument or the data gathering instrument? It can be an interview guide or interview schedule. It can be a questionnaire. It can be your survey instrument, right? It can be a standardized instrument. It can be your own self-made instrument. So usually, hindi naman, lalo na if you're doing your research and you're just an undergraduate student, no? Hindi mo masyadong super higpit on the way you create your instrument. In fact, ano pa talaga yan, no? In-encourage na ng mga teachers yan na the students are allowed to really create their own instrument. Ang mahalaga kasi dyan later on is, of course, check mo kung is it valid, is it reliable. But of course, if you are already a master student or doctoral students, medyo mahigpit na yun, no? Kasi the instrument will be your doorway. Sabi nga dito kay Whitney, between yung path of all the raw materials, in the word of Kant, ito yung mga madaming data hovering around, no? Na before the mind captures them and analyze them into meaningful whole, no? So kaya importante yung gathering instrument mo would be valid and reliable. Kaya very very important yun, yung ating data gathering. Okay, so ang classification of data natin, so objective or subjective, of course hindi naman ibig sabihin, guys, na pag subjective ang data mo, wala nang meaning, no? O lalo na in qualitative research, usually talagang subjective ang basis niyan, because these are how what the respondents feel, or how they feel about things. So if you're doing your ethnographic study and all that, natural, subjective yun dahil you are going to interview them from their perspective, no? So subjective yun. Pero it doesn't mean, as I said, doesn't mean that it's less true. Okay, objective data, ito yung mga nakikita natin na measurable quantities or data na either observe natin, no? Like for example, magandang example nito is yung kanina sinasabi natin, no? The amount of time spent in social media. So if it's an objective data, ito yung mini-measure mo talaga, no? Like, okay, kailan ka ba nagsisimulan dumating sa bahay? Alright? Okay, mga 6 o'clock, ganyan. And then I do, social media thing until mga 12 in the evening. Okay, so maybe 60%, 70% of the time. So, you make computation. In a way, that's an objective kind of data, right? Okay, amount of sleep, mga measurable yan eh, okay? BMI, okay, diba? Measurable objective. Talagang hindi yan based on feelings and whatnot, right? So, ito din yun, no? Qualitative. Hindi naman lagi na pag subjective, qualitative. Hindi naman po, no? But, nililinya lang natin yung explanation natin na there are such kind of arrangement or classification of data. Qualitative, usually numbers, no? Kasi meron namang objective, okay, na data, pero maaaring qualitative in a way, right? I'm sure we can look for an example of that, but suffice it to say that that is a qualification, either quantitative, numbers, qualitative, like it's not numbers, no. Maaaring reducible din to numbers, like okay, how do you feel? Very well, no, not so good, something like that, no. Qualitative yun eh, but pwede mong i-reduce yan into something quantitative, right? Okay? Yun. Attributes ba yan or are they variables, no? Okay, kung attributes tayo, the way it is understood in research is that yung mga attributes na tawag din, ito yung mga discrete data in mathematics, di ba? Now, variables are said to be continuous. Ano ba yung discrete and continuous? Yung discrete ay parang counting numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, ganyan. So, usually nagbibilang ka ng whole numbers or counting numbers. Ang variables kasi continuous yan. Usually, mga mini-measure like how many volts, okay, what is the distance, ilang kilometers, right? Mga ratio variable yan, no? Revolution per minute, no? Miles per second, kung ganun kabilis, right? So in short, yung attributes counting, no? Maaring rank ang order, no? First, second, parang ganyan. So, but yung isa naman is more of ratio in ratio variable, no? Mini-measure, ganyan. Okay. So, it can also be, yan, dito, no? Primary or secondary. Primary data ba to? Or is it secondary data? Baka first-hand data, or is it a result of calculation, no? Primary, tipong height or weight, no? Secondary data ba siya, no? Ito ba ay raw or derived? Raw data, measure mo. Derived, nag-compute ka pa para makuha mo yung data na kailangan mo, right? So, itong mga sources ng data natin, no? Maaaring galing sa mga, I'm sure marami pang mga data na pinanggagalingan ng data na wala dito, no? Can be manuscript, relics, fossils, fossil, no? Books, pamphlets, magazines, and lahat ng specimen within the human reach and interpretation, lahat po yan ay sources ng data, no? Ito yung kanina ang sinasabi natin, primary sources ba yan? Kung ito ay pinag-uusapan natin lalo sa financial, no? Ito ba ay minutes, nasa minutes ng mga board meetings, annual bulletin, ganyan, no? So, mga primary sources yan ng data, no? Kasi talagang um, nakikita yan na it's manifested, no? Pag pumunta ka doon sa isang company or sa isang school, yan, mga primary sources yan na nakikita mo talaga, no? Like manuscripts, ganyan, report cards. Secondary sources naman, maaring may report ng isang person, no? Testimony siya, actually witness siya, no? Participant siya sa isang event. Yan, mga secondary sources, no? Kung kaya naman dito, history textbook, no? Pag nagbukas ka ng library, makakita ka ng mga textbook, nandoon yan, ng encyclopedia. Mga second-hand account, kumbaga, parang ganun. No? Okay, so tools or techniques used in a collection of data, maaaring observation, one of the oldest forms of studying behavior, no? You're observing. Tinitingnan mo siya, no? From a distance or even if you are participating in the whole event, you are observing when you are observing. Ayan, study ka ng behavior. Interview, data gathering device which enables the researchers to draw information from the subject or interviewee verbally, no? So, verbally, in a face-to-face relationship. So, pagsasalita siya, may question, minsan may guide ka dyan, no? And then, you fire away with your interview. Sometimes, yung collection of data, of course, inquiry forms, ayan, mga surveys are also part of that. Ito yung mga observation, no? Dalawang klase. It can be naturalistic, para siyang, parang nasa CCTV ka at nanonood ka ng describe mo yung behavior as it occurs in its natural setting. Kasi, halimbawa, nanonood ka ng mga bata na naglalaro sa playground just to find out ano ang behavior ng mga bata natin, no? Of course, not inappropriate watching, no? Tapos, participant observation, ando dun ka, you become part of it, no? Nagiging kang active participant. Sa umpisa usually, no, at maraming discussion na towards this, no. I don't wanna go into the detail of kasi psychology na to, but if you are a participant in observation, so umpisa hindi ka muna mag-gather niyan kasi usually nasa sandbox yan na theory na sa umpisa you are being considered really as an outsider, so usually they become aware of your presence and nagiging kakaiba yung kanilang behavior is not a natural setting na because somebody is there na unknown sa kanila or foreign na. But later on, yung mga bata, they slip back to their natural setting kasi you are now regarded as, as someone na part of their natural habitat and they become, they go back to their usual self. Yung mga makukulit, talagang makukulit na ulit, no? Kasi they become used to you being part of that setting. Okay, ano ba ang characteristic ng good observation? If you're observing, the observation should be carefully planned, systematic, and perceptive. No? Yung mga time kasi na bawal kang mag-record, right? Kasi lalo ngayon, data privacy and all that, no? But usually naman, pag nasa CCTV, may mga ways naman to gather data, no? Lalo na talaga namang pinapapirma yung mga bata, mga magulang dyan na, makahagip kayo ng CCTV. And of course, it can form part of, our observation. So, sinusuko nyo yung data privacy dyan and all that. But still, kailangan carefully planned yun, no? And systematic. Perceptive in a sense na, lalo na pag, you're watching, like, quality control ka ng quality control ka ng isang BPO casino, ganyan, yung mga nanonood ka ng paano ang ginagawa ng mga ng mga employees mo, no? So titingnan mo kung saan ba sila nagkakaroon ng pagbagal ng transaction or whatever, bakit man nalulusutan yung mga teller, bakit nagkakaroon ng shortage. So, minsan pinag-aaralan yan. Perceptive, kasi hindi mo lang tinitingnan yung prima facie, kasi tingnan mo what led to this, right? So, in a way, perform ka ng judgment dito and tinitingnan mo what transpired, and meron kang usually meron kang mga root cause analysis dyan, and you go deeper, not just looking at the prima facie evidence ng case na kung ano yung nakikita mo, that's it. Diba? Mukha siyang mukha siyang problemado, no? Judgmental na yun. But, you have to really go deeper, right? Observer should know the important details. Yun sinasabi natin. Kaya nga perceptive, di ba? He should be objective. Hindi ka po pwede mag-form ng judgmental mindset dyan. Saka subjective ka na. Galit ka dun sa ino-observe na yun. So, kahit ano sabihin niya, parang wala nang meaning sa'yo. Kailangan objective ka. You just describe the face. Merong dito merong akong naalala dito na form of observation, no? Di ko lang sure, but you should research, no? Parang I think it was Hilda Taba or something na gumawa ng gantong kind of an observation na ginagawa niya sa mga bata, no? Usually nakikita mo doon kung paano, itong mga teachers or mga guidance counselors, mga psychologists, yung mga bata, no, talagang kung makikita mo doon, objective yung kanyang pagkakasunod. Kasi later on, people will look at that, no? Lalo na yung mga bata na nagkakaroon ng mga cases, no, sa behavior. Usually, when you do your observation, dapat objective ka. Ayan, sabi dito, should separate the facts from the interpretation of the facts. Just look at the facts and then just, cite the facts. And if you would want to interpret the facts later, then dapat, it's very clear. Saan ka nag-perform ng judgment, no? Saan part. Observers should check and verify their observations with those other competent observers. Ito, naano ko na to dati, no? With my teacher. Sabi niya doon, dapat ang observation. Minsan, meron pang, triangulation, no? Hindi ka lang basta ikaw lang end all and be all. Sometimes, pag ginawa mo to, the panelist would ask you, who are you? Ayan, no? Are you competent to be an observer? Who is this person reporting the observation? Lalo na pag ito ay pag ito ay court case, no? At merong involved na talagang murder or whatever, no? Talaga i-grill ka ng ng mga lawyers. So kailangan competent yung observer. So usually pag triangulation yan, halimbawa, no, in the case of may parents, may students, fellow students, may teachers, may psychologists, whatever. So kailangan nandoon yung mga no. Hindi naman ibig sabihin ng triangulation ay tatlo lang, no? It can be 4 or 5. Basta kailangan maraming perspective yung observation. Okay? Kaya madugo itong mga ganito, no? Mas maganda pa yung mag-survey ka na lang at diretso na, di ba? Observers should use appropriate instrument to systematize, quantify, and carefully record the results of their observation. At marami ng appropriate instrument yan, makikita nyo, no? However, syempre, karamihan dyan may bayad, no? Kaya talagang yan ang binabayaran doon. Observers should ensure that their observations are valid and reliable, of course, needless to say. Okay, type of interview naman to according to style, can be formal, can be informal. Okay, formal interview, may answer sheet yan, may standard set of question. Yung informal interview, minsan maganda because meron siyang interview guide. Ako usually ito ginagawa ko. May interview guide siya, may mga salient points. And then you proceed as how the interview should, proceed. Parang nagkukwentuhan lang. Kasi pag formal interview, okay naman. Kasi at least you would know the specific questions. Kasi pag mamaya sa dulo, kakatanong mo, meron ka mga na-miss out na critical pala. The informal naman, ang gandahan dito is that the one being interviewed becomes at ease, no? Usually pag at ease ka, mas nagsasabi ka ng totoo, right? So, or nakakakwento ka. Ang formal interview, masyadong rigid Okay, number 1, to question ko. Number 2, to. Yan. Ang informal, pwede mo nang pagsamahin yun, no? Meron kang formal interview, and then on the side, at dito kailangan magaling yung nag-interview, no? Because you would listen intently to the answers given, and then maybe you can reward some of the things that the interviewee says, no? Sabihin niya, for example, okay, tell me what you feel about blah blah blah, no? And then he said something like that, oh sir, matagal na po ako dito sa company nito, etc., etc., etc. And then nakita ko then meron sa sinabi na critical, no? Like familiar culture, whatever, and talaga at ease po ako sa trabaho, whatever. So ang ngayon ang balik mo ngayon is kasi usually may mga lalo Filipinos, no, minsan hindi sila kayang magsalita ng dire-diretso, maiikli lang ng mga phrases. So kailangan you know how to probe, no? So the interviewer should know how to probe. So you mentioned something about yung familial culture. So do you feel, are you saying na itong company natin has a familial kind of culture? Is that what you're saying? So syempre, babalik sa kanya, yes sir, parang ganito. Can you tell me blah blah blah? Okay. Nung ako, kasi naging akong HR, no? So, nag-develop kami dati ng interview questions sa mga empleyado. Nakakuha ko rin to sa, I remember, it's an HR book that we used back in the days na nagma-masters pa ako. And, ang pangalan nung author, Seyfarth. Alam ko yun, parang personal book about HR, ganyan. So, si Seyfarth, ang kanyang style is, halimbawa, mayroon siya sinasabi na what's that movement, parang effective schools movement. Effective schools movement, ano doon yung number one is belief in the educability of all children. Yan. No child left behind. Yan. So, if you were building an effective school, na ganyan lang ang point niya sa akin ni Seyfarth, kailangan yung interview mo should also follow that kind of atmosphere, or you build the atmosphere. So you have to ask whether ito bang in-interview ko will be a good fit. Okay, so how about educability? Kasi pag bigyan mo siya ng chance, ibigyan ka niya ng mga bullshit answers, right? Sasabihin, do you believe in the educability of all children? Of course I do. Blah, blah, blah. No, siyempre, ganun ang mangyayari. So, kailangan you draw out that answer from him or her, right? So, usually sasabihin mo yan when was the last time, ganyan, no? When was the last time you exhibited this kind, no? Alam mo, dito sa effective schools movement, talagang naniniwala ang school, no, sa educability for children. Siyempre, pag sinabi mo yun, alam mo na it's a giveaway na sasabihin niya, oo, naniniwala po ako dyan. Dapat hindi ganun yung bato mo, right? Pwede mo siyang i-reverse psychology, no? Paano pag, di ba, teacher ka, paano pag meron talagang bata na sobrang hina, anong ginagawa mo dyan, no? Ay, parang ganyan, no? And then she'll say, ako po naniniwala na ang mga bata may mga bata talagang bobo pag ganun na ang sagot niya, di sabihin, hindi siya naniniwala sa education. Talaga? So you believe na meron talagang hindi talaga kayang i-improve, no? Ganun ba yun? Well, hindi naman po. Meron naman pong ganyan. Pero, ganyan. So, minsan, sinisave niya yung sarili niya. But, siyempre, meron ka ng red flag or orange flag man lang to start with. So, that's the kind of interview. You go back and forth. Informal. Kasi after, siguro mga 30 minutes or 35 minutes of doing the interview, makikita mo, wow, ang dami na namin na-tackle dito, no? So, kailangan magaling ka din mag-notes dyan. Kasi kung ginagawa mo is you simply record and then papakinggan mo na naman later after everything is done, you will again listen. So if you're the HR or just the researcher, and you have like something like 10, 15, sabi na 15 interviewees, tapos each 1 hour mong interview. So you spend 15 hours interviewing and then another 15 hours listening to the interview and then making notes, diba? So 30 hours na kagad dyan. So that's already a week's time of doing your work. Kaya kailangan you should take notes intelligently. Of course, pag nagre-record ka nga pala, kailangan sabihin mo rin sa kanya yan, no? Sir, inire-record po natin itong usapan na to, ganyan. Kasi po para sa pag-notes taking ko. Ayan. So, kailangan magaling ka rin mag-notes taking para you don't need to listen to the whole interview. Ayan. Okay. Important points to be considered in the conduct interview. Preparation. Needless to say, kailangan prepared ka. Know the appropriate place. Hindi po pwedeng nag-interview ka ng bata, no? Like, kinder student, whatever, doon kayo sa may office ng principal. Hindi yan mag-open up eh. Kailangan may magandang place na kita mo, minsan, nasa place lang kayo ng laro, ano? O kaya naman, ito ginawa mo, nag-interview ka sa canteen, ang daming tao, tapos nagugutom siya, nakikita niya yung mga pagkain, wala na, no? Appropriate place, importante yan. Saka yung time of interview, alas 11:30, distracted ka din, gutom ka na, di ba? Alauna naman, minsan, ano ka, no? Naantok yung ini-interview mo, di ba? So, yun, mga appropriate place, no? Minsan, meron pa yan na you don't, like, for example, di ba, pag nag-interview ka, right? And then you stand, or you sit across the person, tapos meron kang big table, nandun ka sa may, parang boss ka siya, employee. Hindi siya mag-work. Usually, you go to the side of the interviewee and then you level with him, or medyo meron pang mga ano yan, may mga stands pa yan, no, na naka-lean towards ka sa interviewee, as if talaga naman ando doon yung interest mo, no, and wag ka magbibigay ng mga unnecessary, mga distraction, yung mga uh, mga motions mo, nakamiting ka sa relo, right? Tapos, nagtatap ka ng ballpen na parang bored na bored ka. Mga ganun, nakaka-distract yun. So, talagang be lost in the interview. Talagang makinig ka talaga maigi. Develop rapport, yan. Kailangan cordial yung atmosphere, friendly. Kasi pag hindi yan cordial, tapos you keep on, minsan bashing the interviewee. Ang mga tanong mo, talaga? Ganun ang paniniwala mo? Oh, talaga, maganda yan. Magtatagal ka bilang teacher. Yung sarcastic ka, paano mag-open up yun? Hindi na yung magsasalita. Ganun ang way mo mag-question, right? Sustaining the interview, yung sinasabi ko, learn to carry the conversation. Usually, nakikinig ka talaga sa kanya eh. Sa kanyang mga sinasagot. Kung ano yung mga sinasabi niya, you take off from that point, no? Like, may sinabi siya tungkol sa something like halimbawa, rewards and recognition, importante. So, can you tell me more about, can you elaborate on that? Tapos pagka niyo mag-elaborate, when was the last time you got, awarded? Yan. Mahirap kasing sagutin yung interview question na yun kung talagang wala nangyayari. Halimbawa, sabihin namin, no? And ako, I do this a lot, no? As practitioners sa investors in people, no? I interview a lot of people. Minsan, maghapon, mga 15 yan. Minsan, 40 minutes. Minsan, an hour pa. Ang ginugugol mo sa pag-interview. And usually, pag nag-interview kang ganyan, by the time that you reach the 7th or 8th, minsan napapagod ka na sa kakasalita ng mga sinasabi nila sa ulit lang. Kaya kailangan magaling ka mag-sustain ng interview, right? Kailangan yung conversation mo talagang smooth. Kasi usually pag hindi smooth yung conversation, meron silang chance na mag-fake ng ng salita. Hindi kasi fluid yung inyong conversation. So pick up the things na sinasabi niya, no? Bawa sabihin, ang pinag-uusapan niyo is about building capabilities, no? Something about yung mga training na gagawa niyo. Kumusta naman ang training dito? Nagtitrain po kami. Marami po kami training dito. Then, bibigyan ka ng litany ng mga training niya, whatever, blah, 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 blah. Meron kaming training na ganito, ganyan, ganyan. So, okay. When was the last time you were trained? Ayan, yan ang mga magandang critical na question eh. Kasi pag sinabi niya, ay, sir, alam mo, ang dami ko ng training. Kailan mo yung last na training? 3 years ago. Diba? Sabihin, ang tagal na. Talaga? So, since 3 years ago, wala ka pang naging training. Kasi ni-schedule pa po nila yun eh. Okay, okay. So, when will your next training kaya? Pag sinabi, wala pa po kasi sa calendar eh. Naglista ka na ba ng mga training na gusto mo? Pag wala siyang masabi na doon, alam mo na wala na yun eh. Kasi usually yung sinabi niyang una, mga memorized answers lang yun. No? Yung susunod, nakikita mo na wala na to. Right? So parang ganun din, no? Pag mag-gather ka ng data as research, lalo sa qualitative research, no? Hindi mo naman pinuprove na nagsisinungaling siya eh. Ang point mo lang is that, asan kaya yung meat ng sinasabi niya? Okay? Interview recording, no? Portable tape, tape recorder ngayon, no? Kahit cellphone nagagawa na 'yan. But again, kailangan ito, magpe-permission ka, sinabi ko na yan. No? Closing the interview, usually, ako kahit sa opening meron, no? Mag-open ka talaga with saying na ako nagpapasalamat sa iyong time, blah blah, na nandito ka ngayon, whatever. So, gratitude and expression of gratitude, appreciation for the time and effort. Tapos, siyempre, iyaano mo siya, no? Pag nag-interview ka, and then you gather the data, hindi naman yan sinasabi yung name niya outright. Hindi mo sinasabi na si Mr. So-and-so, ito sinabi sa kanyang company. Hindi ganun, no? Kailangan meron kang anonymity. Kasi kung hindi, masisira yung pangalan mo niyan later on. Wala nang magpapa-interview sa'yo. Kasi panay ang sabi mo ng mga talagang critical information. Okay, yung questionnaire, no? Ang questionnaire, inquiry forms naman, questionnaire, written questions in a particular topic, pwedeng survey questions yan, no? May response, minsan ginagawa to dati nung araw, send by mail, hindi na ngayon ganyan, no? Ngayon nga gumagawa na tayo, 'di ba? Na meron ng Google Forms. Ako para sa akin 'yun ang pinakamaganda. So siguro at the end of this module, would like to show you how a Google form, is made. Opinionaire, attitude scale, measure. So pero ano to merong mga scales of forms, no? Mga questionnaires natin. Basta mahalaga dito is that there are many forms already of getting your data. And lahat yan available na. So just look for what is appropriate for your research. So pwedeng structured yung questionnaire, may mga structured questions, no? And then unstructured, may more freedom yan, no? Kasi ang mahalaga lang naman dito is, kaya nga ang importante magbasa kayo ng literature. Kasi sa literature makikita mo paano ba ginagawa ng mga nauna sa akin na mga researchers tong questionnaire na to, no? Paano nila ginagawa yung data gathering. So, malalaman mo naman doon how they do it, right? Hindi necessary na copyhin mo yun verbatim. Pwede ka mag-base ng questionnaire doon. So, pwedeng adapted, blah, blah. And ako, sabi ko nga, I usually write to the authors. Ano doon yan? Usually may email sila dyan. And then kung kailangan mo i-adapt yung questionnaire niya, just fire right away. Sulatan mo siya, no? Marami dyan talagang nag-aantay lang ng collaboration. So, just write them. Okay? Constructing the questionnaire, usually nagde-develop ka ng outline, no? Tapos yan, sabi ko nga dito, draft mo yung questionnaire mo, pwede mo i-borrow yung questionnaire ng iba, adapted from other instruments, yan. Okay? Ano ba yung mga principles ng doing the questionnaire? Define or qualify terms that could easily be misinterpreted. Usually kasi pag ganyan, kaya nga minsan nagkakaroon tayo ng mga pilot testing kasi usually merong mga terms na hindi nila maintindihan. So usually yung mga tao pag ganyan, sinasagot lang nila in the way they understand it. Be careful in using descriptive adjectives and others that have no agreed upon meaning. Baka hindi na naiintindihan, lalo pa tayo, no? Hindi naman tayo native English speaker. Tapos mga highfalutin ang mga ginagamit mong words. Kailangan explain mo yan. Tapos ang ano mo is ordinary workers, no? Tapos hindi nila maintindihan, no? Kailangan, minsan tinatagalog pa yan, no? Be careful of inadequate alternatives. Wala dun sa choices, di ba? Tapos, hindi ka makapili. No? Minsan, dinilive blank na lang kasi sa tingin nila. O kaya, magpo-force silang pumili ng alternative na hindi naman pala yung ginagawa nila. Avoid double negatives. Usually, sa questionnaire, isang thought lang per line. No? Parang ganyan yan tipong masipag ba siya at maganda? Ayan. Hindi mo malaman kung paano sasagutin. Masipag pero hindi maganda. O kaya maganda pero hindi masipag. Ayan, yan ang mga double negative. Hindi. Double barrel pala yun, sorry Double negative, yun yung mga no, not. Is he not unprepared? Yan, mga double negative. Double negative is a positive. So, huwag nyo nang lituhin yung speaker. Ang sinasabi ko pala kanina, sorry, is a double-barreled question. Yun, yung dalawa-dalawa yung pinasabi mo. So, multiple-barreled, minsan pa nga. Kailangan one thought at a time. So, avoid double negatives means may not, tas meron ka pang not, parang ganun. No? Not uncovered. Di ibig sabihin, covered. So, underline a word if you wish to indicate special emphasis. Ito, ingat din kayo sa pag-underline. Of course, lalo na pag adapted yun, huwag kang maglalagay ng mga special emphasis. Usually, naglalagay ka pa ng terms dyan, no? ng highlight na sinasabi mo na itong emphasis dito is mine. Emphasis mine. Parang ganyan. Okay? Avoid unwarranted assumption. Huwag kang maglalagay ng mga assumption. Phrase questions so that they are appropriate for all respondents. Dito nga lumalabas yung mga standardized questionnaire. Standardized questionnaire kasi is talagang so prepared na it's appropriate for all respondents. Kasi na marami ng beses yan nagawa. Design questions that will give a complete answer. No, minsan hindi talaga nangyayari yan, no? But as much as possible, bawat question, analyze nyo maigi. No? Provide for systematic quantification of responses. Minsan, quantitative ka, tas hindi mo ma-quantify ang iyong response, no? Kailangan na systematic quantification mo, no? Halimbawa, example, no? Halimbawa, yung tinatanong mo is how yung how frequent are they, no? Halimbawa, kanina example natin is about how long did they spend in social media, no? So maghapon. Eh kung ang quantification ng responses mo hindi malinaw, no? Uh, halimbawa, no, ang mga choices niya na 24 hours a day, kunwari, no? 12 hours a day, 8 hours a day. So, yan, systematic ba yung quantification na yun, no? Or, baka may mas maganda kasi, no? Kaysa kung naman lagay mo naman never, rarely, sometimes. Ang labo. Anong ibig sabihin mo ng sometimes? Eh, ang pinag-usapan, how long do you spend, time using the social media? Anong difference ang most of the times sa usually or always? Pag sinabi bang always, 24/7, mahirap, di ba? Kailangan, i-quantify mo siya ng katulad ng tama talaga na quantification. Consider the possibility of classifying the responses. No? Pwede mo i-classify yung responses niya. Usually, ginagawa to sa statistics na kino-convert mo paminsan yung mga responses. No? Pwedeng in a 6-point scale, pwedeng yung 1 to 3 will be no or 4 to 6 will be yes. No? Pwedeng ganun eh. Kino-convert mo siya into a nominal scale na dalawa lang ang point. Kasi parang ano ba naman ang meaning ng 1 o lalo na kung 10-point scale yan, ano ba naman ang meaning ng 4 or 5? Anong difference ng dalawang yan? So usually, binalagay lang yan ng division in the middle para malaman mo how many of the respondents chose the right hand, no? Yan. No? Marami namang way to do this, no? You could research more on this, no? Katulad nung may mga bago ngayon na ginagamit, no? Well, of course hindi na yung bago. Na kung saan gumagawa sila po ng mga questionnaire about how ganito yung mga type ng mga questionnaire na gano'n, no? How likely would you be recommending this company? Yan, 1 to 10. No? Pag sinabi mong 4, ang ibig sabihin yan, hindi siya masyadong, no? Hindi yan ating supporter, no? Pag yan nasa 9 and 10, yun lang. Yun. So, may mga classification yan, no? Meron tawag dun eh. Escape my memory as of the moment. Okay, mamaya maalala natin yan. Characteristic of a good questionnaire deals with a significant topic in which the respondent will recognize as important enough to warrant spending his time on. It seeks only information which can be obtained from other sources such as school reports or census data. It is as short as possible, only long enough to get essential data. Huwag masyadong mahaba yung questionnaire nyo. Huwag din masyadong maikli. It is attractive in appearance and clearance. Ito, nangyayari naman to dahil pinapamigay mo. No? Baka naman ang liit-liit, di mo maintindihan, right? Yung direction daw, clear and complete. Important terms are defined. Each question deals with a single idea. Nabanggitan natin yan. No? Worded as simply as clearly as possible. No? Kailangan clear kasi ang questionnaire natin. Questions are objective, no leading suggestions. So, wala yung mga leading questions. Questions are presented in a good psychological order, general to specific, if possible. Wala yung mga embarrassing question kasi lalo na pag yan ay survey. Alam mo namang maglagay ka ng mga embarrassing question doon. Usually, yan, no? Mga interview mo nakukuha yan. Halimbawa, yung paglagay, nakakita ko ng ganyan mga senior high namin dati. Na question, mga tipong, do you engage in free sex? Ganyan. Tapos, yung questionnaire, nagkalat lang dun. Nakikita ng mga magulang, ganun ang mga tinatanong natin. Do you take drugs, illegal drugs? Sino sasabi nun, sumasagot ng ganun, di ba? Saka, ang mga bata ba, capable of analyzing those kinds of questions? Paano kung sinabi niyang yes at drug addict siya? Anong gagawin mo? I-report mo yun? na ganun, 'di ba? Parang hindi siya capable eh. So, mga teachers, huwag kayong maggagawa ng, huwag niyong papayagan ng mga ganung topic, lalo pat ang gumagawa ay high school lang, 'di ba? Hindi siya appropriate na person para gumawa niyan. Kasi, pag dumating sa punto na nagkaroon ng issue dyan, ikaw ang teacher, sino ang sa tingin mong magiging matatawag ang pansin dyan? Edi ikaw, 'di ba? Yun, open-ended type of question preparation. Na open-ended question, free response. Yan, open-ended, pwedeng usually yung mga question, why? Yan. Oh, how do you do this? Ganyan. Ang close-ended, ito yung may scale na, okay, may mga fixed alternative na 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yes, no, ganyan.